On the night of May 26, 2012, a YouTube channel known as X420 Skid Blunts uploaded possibly the most legendary leak in the history of video games. This was to be an early beta of Halo 4, discovered in what looks like a barn on a VHS tape and an Xbox 360 connected to a CRT television. This is what would be known as the infamous Halo 4 barn leak video, and it would be one of the most talked about and interesting leaks in video games. It's fair to say that it would likely never be topped in terms of its impact and its desired outcome, to not only troll, but to let Microsoft know that hackers had the upper hand. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's dissect this a little, because some of the circumstances surrounding this leak seem a little strange on the surface. Was Halo 4 actually found in a barn? Who was behind all this? Or was it just a piece of viral marketing from 343 Industries? And in today's episode, we are going to learn all about the barn leak, how it came to be, and why it's the most talked about leak ever. Today's video is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. With internet privacy being such a huge deal these days, it's more important now than ever to protect yourself. With Surfshark VPN, you can easily hide your IP address and encrypt all data that you send and receive. You can easily switch regions to other countries in the world. This means not only your true IP address and identity is masked, it also means you can get around any annoying geolocation locked video content. You know, the ones that say, this video isn't supported in your country? This can get annoying for me when I want to watch local Aussie news. With Surfshark VPN, I can switch my country to Australia and this problem simply goes away. When I'm researching my videos, because of the nature of my channel, sometimes I need to access older unsecured websites of modding and the underground, and I feel safer knowing that my true IP address is not exposed to these sites. Surfshark VPN also allows you to connect to unlimited devices simultaneously on a single account, and this includes Windows devices, Linux, Android, iOS, Amazon Fire TV, and much more. Surfshark VPN has an awesome offer on right now. If you sign up at surfshark.deal/MVG, you'll receive 83% off and receive 3 extra months for free. And if you think it sucks, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, which will give you plenty of time to try out Surfshark VPN risk-free.
Destiny as a species. Do not underestimate them. But most of all, do not underestimate him.
Halo 4 would release in November of 2012, and it would be the first time 343 Industries would develop a Halo game after taking the reins from longtime developer Bungie. 343 wanted to make a statement, significantly enhancing the technology to bring it in line with more modern shooters of the era, such as Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops. Reviews of Halo 4 were favourable with an 87 Metacritic, and it brought some new mechanics to the franchise, but overall Halo fans were disappointed. While it was a fresh new Halo game, to many it didn't feel like Halo at all. 343 Industries' vision for Halo was polarizing, and the campaign in particular was considered to be disappointing. The repetitive nature of the game, running around the same grey structures level after level, was especially jarring. The lush outdoor sections of previous Halo games were left at a minimum, and while there was some good moments in Halo 4, it was a disappointment. The multiplayer side of the game was better, but overall, with the addition of custom classes, perks, and things like sprinting and instant respawn, it felt more like a generic FPS such as Call of Duty. But for me, while Halo 4 is a decent enough game, it just doesn't live up to the standards of older Halo games. Still, Halo 4 would sell almost 9 million copies, and for all intents and purposes was a success. It was the biggest Xbox game of 2012, and the hype surrounding the game was huge.
I'm fine.
The infamous barn leak would occur 6 months before the launch of the game, and it set the internet ablaze with rumours, theories, speculation, and excitement. Someone out there had Halo 4 months before release, and fans, and of course Microsoft, wanted to know where it came from. In 2009, Gabriel Kirkpatrick would get a hold of an Xbox 360 development kit, or XDK. Getting hold of an XDK wasn't difficult if you knew the right people. Gabe, known as Gabe K Online, was a part of a larger group of Xbox hackers who all owned dev kits and had access to a service known as PartnerNet. PartnerNet is basically Xbox Live, but for developers and testers. Game studios would often upload their games to PartnerNet for QA, multiplayer testing, and even game reviewers would use PartnerNet to test and review games before retail. But how does one get a hold of a dev kit without being sold a stolen one? Recall that the Xbox 360 had a serious problem with the red ring of death, and this would carry over to dev kits that for the most part were identical in terms of their motherboards. Microsoft would send red-ringed and end-of-life dev kits to landfills and recycling plants. Many of these parts were recovered and restored as Frankenstein kits, but they would be brought back to life. They would then be sold on the used and collector's market from anywhere from $200 to $2,000, depending on the hardware and its desirability. PartnerNet security was barely functional and would allow almost anyone with a dev kit to be able to browse and download any available release and run them on their dev kit regardless of publisher. There was no walled-off sandbox, and everyone who made games on the Xbox 360 all used the same one. This lack of security meant that hackers were able to download and leak beta and early releases of games months before the official release date. There were many documented leaks of games from PartnerNet that included Sonic 4, Ikaruga, and in recent times the GoldenEye 007 XBLA leak all originated from PartnerNet with people who had access to dev kits. Microsoft would attempt to mitigate this by adding passwords and PIN numbers and hiding content to be non-visible, but to any skilled reverse engineer who knew PowerPC, they could easily circumvent this. Gabriel was affiliated with a group that was known as the Xbox Underground. These were just kids that had access to XDKs and would share code and discoveries on their findings. We mentioned PartnerNet security was lacking, but for everything that was in plain sight visible to be downloaded, there were also many more hidden titles that were not visible. To enumerate and find hidden content, Gabriel and another member of the group known as Xenomega would first figure out how to display the Marketplace API via HTTP web requests, and discovered that each title on the store would contain a unique offer ID. These offer IDs would be the key to be able to download any content from both PartnerNet and retail Xbox Live. Originally, these offer IDs would be generated in a sequence. The first 32 bits of the offer ID would be the title ID of the game, and the bottom would be unique to the game. Using known offer IDs from games that were previously available, it would then be possible to detect hidden games on the service and figuring out how to list hidden content. This was done by manipulating different bits in the offer ID. Xenomega would develop an app known as Storm, which was able to brute force and enumerate offer IDs. Gabriel would write the app to download to the Xbox. Both of these two applications were merged together to be known as Storm Grabber, so you could download and browse content on your PC and then have them download directly to your Xbox development kit. In 2010, well before the Halo 4 leak, Gabriel would use this tool to leak other things from PartnerNet, including screenshots of both Halo Reach as well as Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 DLC. So this here is an example of the tool in action. As you can see, it's enumerating through a list of hidden content, and in this instance, we can see that it's found DLC for Battlefield 3 known as Back to Karkand. And what's interesting to note about this tool is that the updated date for this DLC is August the 4th, 2011. But this DLC officially released to the public on December the 12th of 2011. And this is just one example of the level of access that this team had to be able to download hidden content well before the official street date. Microsoft were well aware of what was happening and tightened up security to randomize offer IDs. However, this would not be enough. The randomization of these offer IDs would only be a small roadblock. They would set up their tool to brute force offer IDs based on a list of known offer IDs until matches were found. And with Halo 4's release coming later in 2012, the group would check PartnerNet and Xbox Live daily to see if there was any hidden content that could be Halo 4. About 2 weeks before the barn lake video, a suspicious file was uploaded by Microsoft that was around 1.2 gigabytes in size. When he downloaded it with his tools and launched it on his dev kit, it showed the words Xbox Dashboard, but underneath, it was indeed a beta version of Halo 4. This was some of the earliest screenshots of the game to be ever displayed. This group would keep this beta to themselves and play the game for a few weeks, but a few days before the barn lake video emerged, 2 random screenshots of Halo 4 were uploaded to Reddit by an unknown source. It certainly wasn't Gabe and his friends, so they wanted to leak the game first and make a statement. The barn leak video is essentially a big troll and a message to Microsoft that Gabe and his friends had the Halo 4 beta before anyone else. The account 420 Skid Blunts was created specifically to upload this video to YouTube. As far as the barn itself, it wasn't actually in a barn at all. In fact, it was filmed in the front yard of his parents' house in Orono, Maine. In May of 2012, for some reason, there was a lot of hay in the front yard, and with many trees around, it was easier to stage that it was in a barn, and with the low quality footage would provide the perfect backdrop for the video idea. He would then dub some of the captured Halo 4 gameplay to a VHS cassette using a Blackmagic capture device and staged the barn video with the VHS cassette and a CRT television. The intro of the video shows some random names, and while some of these people are just friends of Gabriel's, others are more well known. Xenomega is David Pecora, and MTW is also known as Justin May. Both were a part of the Xbox Underground, an international hacking group responsible for gaining unauthorized access to computer networks such as Activision, Epic Games, and Valve in order to gain sensitive information relating to Xbox One and Xbox Live. It's important to note that while Gabriel was associated, he was not a part of the Xbox Underground team that received jail sentences. And if you want to learn more about the Xbox Underground in general, I'll leave a link to a podcast known as the Darknet Diaries that discusses the entire group in detail. The video then presents a sheet of bullet points with the words "No Tom Morello." This is in reference to an earlier Halo Reach leaked image from 2009 by a user known as Tom Morello that created a thread on NeoGAF showing a blurry camera phone photograph of a Halo Reach battle rifle. Many believed that the leak was viral marketing, but it most certainly wasn't. The music was deliberately loud and distorted. And the song was produced by a Canadian-based SoundCloud rapper known as Young Kong. This was the perfect leak video and one that would almost certainly never be topped. On May 26, 2012, people got wind of the video and many didn't believe its authenticity. But even with the blurry VHS footage, this was clearly Halo 4. It was clear that this was a new game with new mechanics. Microsoft initially wasn't aware of the barn video for about a day and a half, and then it was quickly taken down. A week following, Microsoft found the IP addresses that were connected to Xbox Live to download and banned every single console that attempted to download the beta. They would also completely remove Gabriel's Xbox Live accounts, and they would also ban any accounts, consoles, and IPs that were seen to be playing the Halo 4 beta unauthorized. But it didn't end there. According to Gabriel, Microsoft would start uploading new hidden content to Xbox Live that contained the Halo 4 title ID that were all 0 bytes in size, but the names of these files were all towns in Maine surrounding Orono. Gabriel believes that this was to let him know that Microsoft knew who he was and where he lived. The barn leak became so legendary that even Frank O'Connor, the franchise development director of Halo, calls it the apex of artistic leaks. It will never be topped for sheer frenetic madness. Jessica Shea, a community manager for Halo at the time, tweeted the following: "I can neither confirm nor deny my stance on archaic recording devices. I can say, however, that I prefer beta over VHS." As for Gabriel, he would eventually land a job at Microsoft working as a software engineer in 2017. When I asked how this happened, he said that he went to a security convention and met with the head of incident response at Xbox, who knew all about the barn leak video and had dossiers on everyone that was involved, including Gabriel. He was glad that Gabriel wasn't a seasoned criminal and suggested that he apply for a job at Microsoft in their security team, which he would do for 5 years. In conclusion, the Halo 4 barn leak is legendary. Super low res, blurry, loud, and almost unbelievable. But its footage is 100% real and leaked by a group of kids who at the time found exploits in Xbox Live security. I personally don't believe that we'll ever see anything like it again, and I wanted to say a big thank you to Gabriel Kirkpatrick for sharing with me the entire barn story. It's one for the archives and one that I've been happy to cover on the channel. And with that, we are going to leave it here for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.